This episode is brought to you by Trailer Park Yard Games, where over 28 games are delivered directly to your party. We park the trailer, you party.
Make it super complex, make it numbers and special characters and, capitalize and lowercase, but really now it's just the length. You could have all lowercase and make it 16 characters, and that's pretty difficult to hack with the software that they're using.
So, Bill, size matters. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry.
On my LastPass now, I just go all the way to the right.
I love
I have no idea how many characters
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And that is, the other recommendation is get a password safe. I use Keeper.
Let's have a chat, talk this and that with BB and Jaisy.
All right. Hey, it is the PB and Jaisy show. I am Sarah Paget, and I've got the lovely...
Hello, I am Jaisy George.
And I am the lovely Bill Stedham.
Also very
You
lovely.
did say lovely, didn't you?
Yes, very lovely. So today, I wanted to start off by talking about, the saying, like, whatever happens in Mexico stays in Mexico. It's not true. It's not. I literally brought
especially if you have
our
like a
guests
kid or something.
back from Mexico. Yeah. So we were on
Hola,
You
¿cómo
have
estás?
her in Mexico?
Yeah, I put her in my suitcase and brought her back.
Okay.
So before I introduce our lovely guest, so we were on a trip. A bunch of friends went on a trip, and we had one single guy with us. And we ran across these crazy girls that were on a girl trip. And long story short, they got married, had babies. They live in Texas now. So this is my friend Lexi. And that's not what we're going to talk about at all. But I wanted y'all to know how dangerous Mexico can be, but also how rewarding.
And how what happens there does not stay there.
Does not.
Obviously,
No,
since you
it's
got
not.
married to it,
I
you
don't
fully
drink.
committed to the decision.
I don't drink tequila anymore.
Okay.
I come home with a husband and 3 kids. Yeah.
Well, and
so-
do you want to introduce yourself, name, title, and what we'll actually be talking about
Sure.
today?
I appreciate y'all having me on today. Alexis Kennedy. I am a senior manager at a public accounting firm, also consulting firm. I work primarily in the cybersecurity space. CPA by trade, accounting background, but got into IT security and been there for the better part of 12 years now.
And where's that accent from?
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm born and raised from Michigan,
Okay.
just south of Detroit. My maiden name is actually Mathers, so I used to get a lot of, are you related to Eminem? Living up there in Detroit.
She can rap like Eminem though. I've seen it.
All right,
Okay.
we're gonna need you to.
So are you a Michigan football fan?
No. Michigan State grad. Go green.
Okay.
So, I'm happy Michigan's in a bowl game. It's still my state, but no, usually do not like those colors. So.
I feel like we have a lot of Michigan transplants here in Texas.
I mean, I would move because it's too cold.
Yeah, it's way
true.
cold.
It's very cold up there.
It's much better living in a state where it's cold one day and then it's hot the next day.
Or in the same
and then
day.
it's cold in the morning. It's hot in the evening.
Well, Michigan has Detroit as their pro football team. Have they won a game in the last decade?
It's a sore subject.
We tied this year, so that was fun.
Okay. Well,
That was
Yay!
fun. But you know what? It's
Participation
not very
trophy.
fair because I left Detroit and then came to Dallas, which, let's be honest, the Cowboys are not that much better.
We have not won since you got here.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you.
It is.
So, Lexi, we're so excited to have you today. You're a little too late though because Bill's already been hacked.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you want to tell that story, Bill, or
Sure.
what happened, but
A great day in my life was setting up to go to the new Rangers Stadium to watch the Rangers play. And some friends had invited me, Michael and Travis invited me to go to the game. And here we go to the game. And we're sitting there in the game. And all of a sudden, my phone's blowing up. Like, Bill, something's wrong. You're doing things you're not supposed to be doing. And I'm trying to get on my Facebook account, which I can't get on. So I try to reset it, can't get there. Michael takes the phone away from me. He says, I'll fix this.
Don't worry, Bill. I'll figure it out.
Yep.
So I go get another adult beverage and I come back. It's unfixable. To this moment, I had a Facebook account with over 5,000 people on it. Cannot get back in it. It doesn't matter what I do, I can't get back in it. So I had to create a new account, lost everything that was on it. But more importantly, they ended up accessing my email.
Yep.
They ended up accessing some accounts, ended up spending money I don't know how that
Ann's
happened.
money.
Yeah, Ann's
Let's
money.
clarify.
So luckily that's okay. That's fine.
So
I want to know, like, who was sitting there, like, I really want to hack somebody today.
Yeah.
What about this man?
yeah.
Like,
Who do I want to be today?
offense.
Yes, 6-year-old white man from Texas. Let me be him.
I was gonna say I live the dullest life in the world, and why someone wants to get in my accounts is beyond me.
If anything, it should make you feel special. Like they could have been anyone, and they chose you.
So
Well-
is that kind of the MO though? You start with social. I mean, is that a gateway into other things?
Yeah,
Is
I
that-
mean, that's the easiest way. We as humans love our technology, but we like convenience. And
yeah.
so we don't typically do the things that we need to do to protect ourselves in the virtual environment. And really, it's from a hacker's perspective, it's just opportunity. And they'll go through, and Bill, I'm going to ask you, did you have the same password across multiple different accounts?
Do
I love Anne.
Do I have to admit this? So I don't anymore. But every password on every account that I had for 59 years was the exact same password. And when they made me change it, it was a slight variation of that password. And I didn't make any changes. So it took me weeks to go in and change all my passwords. I had no idea how many passwords are out there. So now I bought this software to do it for me, and now I set up an account that's about this long.
Yep. It's I give presentations and talk about personal cybersecurity various times throughout the year, and I'll have people in the audience and I'll have them raise their hand. I'll ask a question. How many of you sat through a conversation or discussion like this? Half the room raises their hand. They've all heard it. How many of you have the same password for multiple accounts? They all raise their hand.
Right.
So we continue to educate and train and try to train on having cybersecurity, good hygiene, and people, it's just inconvenient.
IT
It's
condoms, if you will.
Yeah,
Use protection.
It's inconvenient, right? I mean,
It is.
Who wants to remember 45 different passwords for all my accounts? And the way social media has evolved over the last decade, you're now using Facebook as single sign-on to all of their apps. I mean, how many times have you clicked, do you want to use Facebook to log in, right? So you don't even create a username and password for these other services that you're signing up for. It's all through Facebook. So your Facebook goes down, they have access to whatever else you've signed up
I'm
on
gonna
through
have
Facebook.
to go and fix some stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Y'all keep doing this. I'm gonna run and.
here's a couple things that
BRB.
happened. So I was worried about inconvenience. You're correct, but let me tell you about inconvenience. So they got in my work email, and I've got a small little position here in the company, and all of a sudden, every email I'd ever sent in my life, somehow they got access to and resent it. So everybody thought the emails that I'm sending were legit. So they're clicking on it. So they're saying, why did you send me a pay statement from 15 years ago? You fired me. And, it created some really
How
interesting.
dare you show your face around
Did
here?
anybody pay you though? That might have worked out.
No one paid me, and we didn't get any extra money, but
Bill is still in the negative
yeah,
on this whole situation.
it was terrible. But then the single sign-on is a big deal because so I had some accounts where I bought things with the single sign-on. So did the hacker. In trying to change it, I had to cancel all my credit cards and get all new credit cards. And some of those still are being charged. Somehow the banks don't stop.
So Lexi, what are some things, if we could rewind for Bill, what are some things he could have done differently or we could all do to be a little safer?
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing is not having the same password across multiple accounts. So if your email wasn't the same password as your Facebook, they wouldn't have gotten into your email. They wouldn't have been able to reset all your other passwords because they had access to your email. So that's one of the biggest ones. The second thing is making sure your password I say at least 16 characters.
Wow.
8 is hackable so quick now with the software these hackers have. It used to be 8 was the recommendation, then it was 12 for a little while. And now it's really 16 characters, takes a really long time
How many of us are
to
counting?
hack. And initially they were like, make it super complex, make it numbers and special characters and, capitalize and lowercase. But really now it's just the length. You could have all lowercase and make it 16 characters, and that's pretty difficult to hack with the software that they're using.
So, Bill, size matters. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry.
On my LastPass now, I just go all the way to the right. You know,
I
Yeah.
love Anne.
I have
I love
no
Anne.
idea how many characters
1, 2,
it
3,
is.
4, 5,
and,
6.
and that is, the other recommendation is get a password safe. I use Keeper, you use LastPass.
What's it called? Keeper?
Keeper Security.
So what does that do? It'll just save your...
It stores your passwords for you. It helps you generate unique passwords. Like my passwords are 16 to 25 characters, and they're just a bunch of mumble jumble. Like I could not recite it to you. It makes no rhyme or reason. But you can just go in the app, copy it, paste it into whatever you need to sign into. And that really helps. Some of those softwares are free. Some of them are paid. I pay for mine. I used to audit that company, Keeper Security, so I feel pretty good about what they're doing with their stuff. So I trust them. I know LastPass is a very reputable company as well for that. So that's one of the things that you can definitely do that most people don't do. And now your phones allow you to sync your password keeper up to your
browser.
So you can go and look up that password directly from the browser, so you're not constantly going out and in. The one thing that you do need to make sure you do if you get a password keeper is you're going to get 3 unlock codes. Write those down, put them in your safe, put them somewhere safe, because if you get locked out of your password keeper, they will not reset it. They will not get you back in. So if you have, I have hundreds of passwords in mine. So if you lose that and need to reset it, you have to have those kind of, fire escape codes, if you will.
I'm so stressed out right now.
I'm like,
and if you're in my family, I run all the finances. John, my husband, wouldn't even know how to log into the bank account. And so
Does that sound familiar, Bill?
I have.
It does.
feels like I have a bank account.
Right.
Man, give me money.
So in our safe, there's like an envelope like, if I die, John,
yeah,
here's how
this is
you
what
get
you
into
need
the
to
password
do.
keeper,
here's
and
how
you can log
here's
into
how you
everything,
cook
right?
dinner.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's a funny story. So my wife does that too. She does exactly what you do. So she writes down all of the information, puts it in the safe. And I said, well, honey, where's the code to get in the safe? Because we need a key,
It's in the
a
safe.
code, and a fingerprint.
Yep.
What's in the safe? Well, how in the heck am I supposed to get it?
Exactly, Bill.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
There's a reason
need
for
it.
that.
It's
There's
okay.
a reason for that.
Would you also recommend, because like you were saying, with so many different apps and things like that, you can log in using Google, using Facebook, using whatever. Would you recommend not doing that and instead creating a different login instead of using Facebook?
No, there's definitely pros to that, but again, we want convenience. And it's not that it's unsafe. It's just that you need to make sure that if you're going to use Facebook as your primary login or Google as your primary login to all these other apps, make sure that's a solid password. And that is fine for all of your ancillary apps. Like you're logging into, Snapchat and Instagram or,
Bumble.
Wayfair or whatever
Tinder, whatever
you're
using.
not, if they're non-financial, like if you're not going to be making purchases on them and that kind of thing, then that makes sense. But your bank account should have a separate username and password. Your email accounts definitely separate username and passwords. And just be smart. It's risk-based. What is your highest risk? Your bank accounts are your highest risk. How do you get into your bank accounts? Well, you can go through the browser or you can get in through your email. So make sure those 2 accounts are pretty secured and locked down.
What are you doing this afternoon?
Can you help us to figure this out? Can you come in and talk to our entire office on Monday?
So personal level, I think those are great, but you really work on like a big business level, right? Making sure companies are secure. So what does that look like when you get hired on to help somebody?
Yeah, so what I do is I help organizations implement internal controls to support the security.
Bless you, Tom. I don't know if anyone else heard that.
And protect the data that they have within their organization. So, for example, you mentioned a dating app. Those dating apps have a ton of personal information on millions
How
of
do you
people.
like it? Who are you into?
Think about the message detail in those data
personal,
apps.
for sure,
Really,
yeah.
think about the message detail in those data apps,
Yeah.
right? If you don't want that out in the world, so we go in and help organizations make sure that stuff stays secure based on, best practices, industry best standards. I do a lot of auditing, third-party audits where we issue reports to make sure that those controls are actually in place and operating effectively. And then we have groups at the firm that are far more technical than I am, actual ethical hackers, if that's an actual saying. They get hired to go and hack these companies and say, hey, here's how I got in, here's how you can fix it, here's how you can patch it. And they'll work more on kind of that really technical security side from a hardware and software implementation perspective. But it's funny because when you look at the controls that I audit and the controls that we recommend a lot of organizations implementing, it comes down to what is your workforce doing? What are the people doing? Because people are your weakest link when it comes to cybersecurity. Every day you hear, San Angelo, their hospital, Shannon, just got hacked, ransomware. Everything was shut down for, 24 hours.
Wow.
And you talk about that in a hospital setting, that's literally life or death. All of that equipment is connected. All of that equipment has data in it that is supporting the treatment of that patient.
And what do these hackers do with that information? Are they selling it? Are they using it for other things? I've heard people hold things ransom until someone can pay them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing right now is ransomware, especially in the hospital setting, because they have a very high want to get that unlocked, right?
For sure,
people's
It
lives
makes
are
more
on the
sense
line.
to just pay the bill than to try to
And that's what's
it out.
happening.
Yeah.
So people are paying, so you're seeing more ransomware. It's one of the biggest attacks out there right now is just holding things ransom. You still get the stealing of social security number information. A big one is insurance fraud. They want your health insurance card so they can go get treatment under your name, or they'll sell that so people can go get treatment that aren't insured. So that is it's both sides, right? You're going to have the data stealing, selling, and they are getting paid for it. Or you're getting the ransomware and they're also getting paid for it, especially with cryptocurrency on the landscape. It's easier to get paid and not really be traced.
Yeah.
So
My brother does something similar to that where it's like a cybersecurity kind of like ethical hacking kind of thing. And so like he works for, I think he's got a different job now though, but he worked for like Bank of America and stuff like that. And so he worked from home for the longest time. We would just be like, Jen, do you even have a job? You're like always like out at the park, riding your bike, like doing stuff. But then he would get a call or an email and he would be just like, it would be like, he would work from like midnight to like 2 p.m. the next day because they would have some sort of data breach from Brenda who let her like, password out or whatever. And it's like this crazy thing that just like, it like cascades into so many, because once they get into one thing, they can get into this and this and this and this. And then, it's pretty crazy.
And before you know it, they have access to your Airstream.
Yeah. Gotta be careful.
Now, that
regret.
password
I should not have said
is
that word.
about 100 characters long.
What kind of password do you need for your Airstream?
Oh,
Yes, let us know
It
what
does
is the
have
password.
data in there. We have a server in Airstream.
Okay. Well, I've got my pen ready, Bill. What's that? What's
I
that
love
password?
Anne
Okay.
Yeah.
a lot.
and it's not just the electronic environment either. There was a few years back a CEO up in Minnesota. That's Sarah's favorite word.
Oh,
that I
yeah.
say, Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
He in the mail he got 4 tickets to a Twins game, and it was from his local hardware store. Hey, you won the raffle. Here's 4 tickets to the Twins game. And he's thinking, makes sense. I go to the hardware store all the time. I don't remember entering this raffle, but go to the hardware store all the time. So he takes his family of 4 to the Twins game, comes home, his house is completely cleaned out. And so, these are things that people are doing, and they're preying on your trust. And it's not to, we got to trust people, right?
Right.
But you've definitely got to tread lightly with where things are coming from. Who is it actually coming from? Whether it's an email or something in the mail or what you respond to. Your bank's never going to ask for your password over text. Your bank's never going to ask for your password in a phone call. If you're ever concerned about anything, go directly to the website, log in. You'll have their mailing system within their login. Links are just bad. Don't click on them.
What was the police officer that called? The police officer that called the other day that was
yeah.
trying to get one of our agents out?
Well, this, I guess, a scam's been going on for a long time now, where someone will call pretending to be a police officer, and they'll find an attractive young lady.
I did not get a call.
Yeah.
I did.
But
Did not.
so, and they're very convincing. And this guy called and said, you know, you didn't show up for court, and we're coming to get you, but to avoid being arrested in public, you can come on down to the police
Please
station.
put on
Wear
right
a
now.
red dress.
Yeah, a short
and a
red
thong.
dress.
No, I mean, they were very, very convincing. You need to come down right now. And this person hit 2 or 3 of our people in 2 or 3 different cities. And fortunately, they were smart enough to go to senior leadership, and we were aware of what was going on. We said, no, don't respond to that. The same thing in real estate and title, where someone will get an email and they'll fish an email. I guess that's what it's called. And then they'll start sending an email saying, we need your wiring instructions.
Yeah. Wire fraud is huge.
And they'll send in the wrong wiring instructions. So then when it closes, what they're hoping to do is either get the buyer of the property to send, okay, the $100,000 they need for their down payment to the title company, right? Except they're sending it to Sam, who's sitting on the beach
Right.
in Egypt. And, you know, you're
it
not,
literally went to BFE.
yeah, it did.
It's gone.
And the money's gone, and getting it back is next to impossible, as
Right.
you're aware.
Yep.
And then that ruins a family's dreams. It
Yeah.
certainly slows down and taints the experience. And that's a big issue that we have.
People are getting really smart about it, because I was selling some stuff on Facebook, and quite a few times I would get messages from people that were like, oh, hey, I want to buy this. I'll pay for it right now. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, you know, I can do a porch pickup, whatever. And then they'd be like, okay, well, before I pay for it, I'm going to send you a code. Like, give me your phone number. I'm going to send you a code just so I know that I'm sending it to the right person. I'm like, okay, I'm not, but I can see how someone like Bill would fall for that.
Right.
Or something. But what they're doing is they are actually trying to reset your password.
Yep.
Facebook is sending you a code, and they're needing that code so they can reset your password. But that's like such an easy way for someone to fall for it. Like, oh yeah, this person's just trying to verify
Absolutely.
that I am who I am.
Well, and we have a little segment that will continue this discussion, I believe, but it's called
Tales from the Lockbox. And, you know, I've got this one. And this stupid dude was applying for a job with Marriott in 2010. So instead of just applying for the job, he hacks into their system. And he holds them hostage, and he says, look, if you don't give me the job.
That's
I'm
one
gonna
way to
rip-"
get a job.
Well, but you got to be really stupid if you think about it. If you don't give me the job, I'm going to go ahead and cause irreparable damage. So what they end up doing is they go ahead and give him a job. And they say, okay, you've got to send in your identification and stuff. So he's like, okay, now I got the job, no big deal. Sends in his passport, his driver's license, and ID. And they immediately pass it on to the Secret Service.
Sure.
Oh my god.
That is so incredibly dumb.
Dumb.
It makes me think of that episode of Cops where like the guy is running from the cops in the middle of the dark,
In the middle of the
night with the light up shoes, and he's like hiding in the tree, and they're like, "What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see you."
Yeah, so I have a second one though. So back, you know, a few years ago when there was some radical terrorists in the world, and they were actually printing a publication with how to make a bomb. And I guess they have a magazine that goes to radical terrorists, and one of the sections is bomb making. So you know, our spies found out about it, and they hacked in prior to it being printed and put in cupcake recipes.
Oh my gosh.
And took out the bomb making recipes.
Perfect.
And then they, of course, published
Man, them
it.
cupcakes are bomb.
Vanilla? What? I'm confused.
Vanilla can be very explosive.
So, you know, there's a lot of
Surprised you didn't know
stupid
that.
people out there. And
There are.
I just wish we could catch all these people and put them in a cell.
Well, the other one we get all the time, and they must get our roster like from, you know, online, whatever, internet. And I get these texts all the time like, hey, it's Bill. I'm in a meeting. Can you send me a gift card?
Yeah.
And so
Don't
we-
call me. Why did you get a new phone number, Bill?
Right.
I'm so confused.
I'm like, Bill's literally sitting next to me. But so we just all start messing with them. And we're like, you know, I asked one, like, send me a pic and I might send you something back. You know, like, yeah, I don't understand. Like, just go get a job. Go get a job.
I feel like if they would spend as much time as they do in trying to hack people or trying to, you know, scam people as to getting in a real job, they would be doing really well.
Go get an IT
You
job.
would be
if
making
you're
a lot of
that
money
good.
if you would just put that much effort into just getting a regular job.
For sure. So I think these people need to level up. What do you think?
I think so too.
Like that transition there.
So my quote today is, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. And in Bill's case, that's hacked, because he's always used the same password and he's always getting hacked. But yes, all of that to say, kind of like what is it? Insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results.
For
So
sure, yeah.
a lot of times we can get in ruts and we'll be like, I'm just going to keep doing this grind, doing this whatever, and it'll just
Speaking of grind,
figured out.
that's
Speaking
the
of
coffee
grind,
grinder.
the coffee is
kicking
grinding.
through. That was a
Good
transition
morning.
too.
But yeah, try something new. Try to get out of your rut. Try a different password. Mix it up a little bit.
Mix it up.
Well, and Lexi, we have a few minutes left. So if there's anything else you suggest, I've heard longer password, make sure they're not all the same, be very conscious of what passwords you're using for what things, especially financial information. Anything else we need to be doing just to make ourselves a little less of a target?
No, I think that those are really the key items.
So I've got a big question.
Okay.
So I'm on this earth 59 years when this had happened, right? We've had this podcast for months before this had happened. Why didn't we do this podcast in early
She was having a baby.
2021?
Yeah,
I was really pregnant.
really busy.
And
They weren't going to hack the baby.
She was giving birth.
No,
Yeah.
but that is another thing. If you have kids, go freeze their credit. It'll unfreeze right when they turn 18. That's another big hack.
They get like
wow.
their
They
I didn't
get
know
their
you could
social security card, open credit cards, and you
ready
don't
to
ever know.
Yeah. I didn't know that you could.
So you go to the 3 bureaus, freeze your kid's credit. It'll automatically unlock at 18.
I'm going to do that today with my daughter.
And
But she's
I think
already
that's smart.
She's like 30.
Yeah, but that way she can't use credit.
yeah, no, don't do
She
that,
has
because
a
if she
home.
tries to buy a house, then it's frozen. You can't do a credit check. So you want to make sure
Bill's
it's
just
unlocked
trying to force
before
her
you
into
need
getting
it.
married.
But definitely you can freeze your kid's credit, and that kind of protects
idea.
them as they're younger, to make sure nothing's getting opened in their name, in their information. So
Because they're taking people. I've seen people. They take like dead people's information
Oh,
and
wow.
all kinds of stuff. Right.
Well, and I had no problems literally for almost 60 years. And all of a sudden, the only time I ever had an issue was the one time, but it was a big deal.
well, it's because you got this little tiny job here.
It's a very small job here.
I think they saw Anne and they decided Anne's the target, but she's too smart, so we have to infiltrate through Bill.
It's crazy.
And Anne would have murdered someone.
Yeah.
For sure. So, well, I think that's all we got today.
Yes.
I've got a list of things that I need to
I
go
need to
do.
I need to freeze my kids'
immediately.
credit.
I think that's, for sure. Well, your kids would probably try to go get a credit card or something.
I feel like they might already.
Swipe
Xander,
it.
Xander, stop.
But thank you so much, Lexi.
Absolutely.
It was
It's a
awesome.
pleasure to be here.
And I'm sorry, Bill, we didn't have her over sooner. Yeah. I'm sorry.
But if it
now
can
you
help
know.
someone else, that's great. And I'll tell you, you don't ever want it to happen to you, because it was the biggest nightmare in the world, and it took months to fix.
It's like worse than getting your wallet stolen. For the longest time, I
yeah.
thought that getting my wallet stolen would be like the worst thing. Oh my gosh, I got to get new credit cards. I got to get new, driver's license and all these things. This would be far worse
Yeah, my mom's got hacked, and it was terrible for me.
because all the comments
So
on Facebook.
terrible.
That was your actual.
Did she ever get back her account?
No.
Neither did I. We should be able to get back our accounts.
My mom called me 2 days ago, and she's like, Lex, I got this email from Best Buy. It says I have this purchase to pick up at Best Buy. I didn't buy anything from Best Buy. I called the credit card company. There's nothing on my credit card. How is this thing at Best Buy? I'm like, I don't know. Call the store. They call the store. You're like, yeah, ma'am, I have a Apple headphone set here ready for you to pick up. I was like, I didn't order that. Cancel the order. And she's like, I don't even have that credit card. I'm like, well, if it wasn't your credit card, I'm like, I don't know why they would send it to your email if they're trying to hack you.
Right.
So I call my sister, who's also in cybersecurity. She's more of the ethical hacker. And I said, will you call mom and help her reset her passwords, because she can't remember her password. I've reset them 45 times. And Shelby calls me back, my sister, and goes, I ordered those headphones and I was giving her the Best Buy points. And I'm like, and she goes, now they won't hold them for me. And that was Derek's Christmas present. I don't have them.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Trying to help you out, Mom.
So yeah, she's like, I was trying to give Mom the points. So yeah.
Moms are super fun. Internet moms are amazing. So, all right, guys. Well, that is all we have for you today. Thank you so much. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow us. If you are a business in need of some cybersecurity, where can they find you, Lex?
You can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn, or Weaver.com is the company that I work for, Alexis Kennedy.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And with that, we out.
Just had a chat, talk this and that with BB and Jaisy.